All right, today we're cracking open one of the oldest stories in the book, literally, and you're going to be shocked at how modern the advice is.
I mean, just think about that for a second. Have you ever seen it happen? A single moment of just white-hot fury. One bad decision in the heat of the moment that just completely unravels a career or a friendship or a reputation. We see it all the time, right?
Well, that's the Iliad. That's exactly what it is. It's not just some old story about swords and sandals. Think of it more like a 2,700-year-old warning label, telling us about the absolutely catastrophic price of an unchecked ego.
Okay, so to really get our heads around this, we first have to clear up a really common misconception about what this story is and what it isn't.
So, right off the bat, the Iliad is not the story of the whole Trojan War. Nope, there's no Trojan horse in it, no big origin story. Instead, what Homer does is he zooms way in with this laser-like focus on just a tiny, super intense slice of time. We're talking about just a few weeks deep into the 10th year of a miserable, grinding war.
Just 51 days. That's it. That's the entire window of the poem. And what's even crazier is that the most important stuff, the real core of the action, is squeezed into just 4 of those days. It's a total pressure cooker, and it's designed to show us exactly what happens when people crack under unbelievable stress.
And right at the absolute center of that pressure cooker is the rage of one man, Achilles. His anger is the emotional engine that drives every single thing that happens in this story.
You could think of the whole epic as this incredible chain reaction, and it all kicks off with a single insult. You've got King Agamemnon, the leader, who publicly humiliates his star warrior, Achilles, by taking away his prize of war. For Achilles, this isn't about the prize, it's a huge blow to his honor. So what does he do? He completely withdraws from the fight and actually prays to the gods that his own side starts losing badly. Well, his best friend, Patroclus, can't stand to see the Greeks getting slaughtered, so he puts on Achilles' armor to try and save the day, and he's killed by the Trojan hero Hector. This loss, this just transforms Achilles. His sulking turns into this terrifying, all-consuming rage. He goes back to the battlefield, hunts down Hector, kills him, and then just desecrates his body. But just when you think Achilles is completely lost, something incredible happens. Hector's old father, King Priam, sneaks into the Greek camp and begs for his son's body back. And in that old man's grief, Achilles sees a reflection of his own father, and his rage finally breaks. It's replaced with compassion. And get this, the poem doesn't end with some big victory. It ends with a funeral, a quiet moment of shared human sorrow.
Now, if you really want to understand the core message of the poem, you have to look at the 2 greatest warriors on the field, Achilles and Hector. They represent 2 totally different paths, 2 different ways of being a hero.
So on one side, you've got Achilles. He's an unstoppable force of nature, the greatest fighter alive, period. But his skill is all about him. It's for his own glory, his own legend. He's kind of spiritually broken until that very last moment. And then you have Hector, the hero of Troy. He's also an incredible fighter, but he fights for something so much bigger than himself. He fights for his family, his city, his people. He knows deep down he's probably not going to make it out alive, but he chooses his duty over his own survival. It's this timeless battle, right? Individual brilliance versus communal responsibility.
So, what are we supposed to take away from all this ancient drama? Well, it turns out the wisdom forged in this war is just as powerful and relevant today, whether you're on a battlefield or, in a tense boardroom meeting.
And here's something that might really surprise you about the Iliad. You hear war epic and you think it's all about rage and honor, right? But the poem spends just as much time, if not more, talking about love and mercy. The big argument here is that showing mercy isn't a weakness. It's actually the ultimate sign of strength.
Okay, so big idea number 1. Rage is radioactive. Think about it. Achilles' anger, totally justified at the beginning. But because he can't control it, it just metastasizes. It becomes this toxic force that poisons everyone around him, but especially himself. Sure, he gets his revenge in the end, but it costs him the one person he loves most in the world. It's such a powerful reminder, isn't it? Sometimes winning the argument means losing the very thing you were fighting for. And the second big idea is this. Honor is like social oxygen. In their world, and let's be honest, in any office or team today, public respect is what keeps everything running. It's the fuel. So when Agamemnon disrespects Achilles in front of everyone,
He's not just hurting one guy's feelings. He's pulling the plug on the entire Greek war machine. Everything grinds to a halt.
And man, the truths just keep coming from this epic. It shows us that it's grief, not winning, that turns rage into real wisdom. It teaches us that being the best at something is totally empty if you don't have empathy. It gives us this powerful idea about fate and free will. Yeah, fate might set the game board, but you are the one who moves the pieces. And it even gives us a new definition of courage. It's not about never being scared and running away. It's about finding the strength to stop running, turn around, and face the fight.
Okay, this is all great, deep, philosophical stuff, but how do we actually use any of these 2,700-year-old insights in our lives, like today?
Well, here are 3 really practical tools you can pull straight from the story. First up, the 90-second rule. Neuroscientists tell us that the chemical rush of anger in your brain only lasts for about 90 seconds. If you can just force yourself to say nothing for that minute and a half, something Achilles absolutely failed to do, you get to respond instead of just reacting. Tool number 2, the honor repair script. Look, if you have to correct someone or overrule their decision, don't be like Agamemnon. Affirm their value first. Say something like, "You've been incredible and gotten us this far." Then deliver the tough news. It preserves the system, it preserves the respect. And finally, number 3, the Priam Pause. In a really tough conversation or negotiation, before you lay out your demands, do what Priam did. Start with a human question. Ask the other person, "What are you most afraid of losing here?" It completely changes the dynamic from a fight into a shared problem to solve.
So, in the end, I think the goal is to be a blend of all 3 of these guys, right? Be strong and skilled like Achilles, absolutely, but be brave and selfless like Hector, and, most importantly, be wise and compassionate like Priam.
Because at the end of the day, the Iliad isn't really a history lesson, is it? It's a mirror. It holds it up to us and forces us to ask a really tough question. Before we act, before we speak, before we hit send on that angry email, what is my anger going to cost? And who is going to be the one to pay for it?